hypothesis testing, one sample t-distribution. We are going to use the p-value to come up with a decision and an interpretation. So this is actually an example with data. All right. You receive a brochure from a large university. The brochure indicates that the mean class size for full-time faculty is fewer than 31. Okay, so right there, we already know where we're going. Fewer than, less than 31. So we want to test this claim. Okay, so our alternative hypothesis is our claim, left tail, fewer than 31. The data is provided below, and we're testing this at alpha is equal to 0.05. Remember, to reject the null hypothesis, we want our alpha, our p-value to be less than 0.05. Okay, so before going there, let's answer question A. Okay, to identify correctly null hypothesis and alternative hypothesis. So I'm looking for greater than or equal to and less than. So F. And remember, alternative hypothesis is our claim. So check your answer. Good job so far. So let's go to part B. We need to use technology to compute the p-value. All right, so next to the data, you have those two boxes that will enable you to activate some functions, StatCrunch, or you can use Excel. So use StatCrunch. Okay, so we have the data. So we're going to have to go to stat, t-stat. All right, so you can use z-stat or proportion, variances. So you have a lot of statistical application here. So t-distribution, one sample, and we are given a data. We could have been given a summary, so you just click summary. So in this case, one sample with data, and make sure you pass on the data. Okay, double click on the data, and we need to change the mu to 31. That's what we are testing. 31, and the alternative hypothesis will automatically populate it, but be careful, make sure we are adjusting the tail. We're dealing with a left tail, right? So adjust that, and then click compute. Okay, we could have also done the confidence interval if you wanted to. So by clicking compute, we have our statistical value of t, and we also have our p-value, what we're looking for. So our p-value is 0.0816. To 3 decimal places is going to be 0.082. So that's what we're going to populate here. Okay, 0.082. 0.082. All right. So we're going to check our answer. We're doing good. We're on a roll, 2 and 2. Okay, so next is our decision. Remember, for us to be able to reject the null hypothesis, our alpha must be greater than our p-value, or p-value must be less than alpha. Here, clearly, check this out. Our p-value is 0.082. Our alpha is 0.05. So p-value is greater than alpha, so we failed to reject the null hypothesis, right? So our answer is going to be either A or B. Failed to reject the null hypothesis because p-value is greater than the level of significance. That's exactly that. All right? Because if p-value was less than, we would have rejected the null hypothesis. So here we retaining it and click on it. Oh, check this out. We're good. Now we need to interpret the result. Remember, we're failing to reject the null hypothesis. By failing to reject the null hypothesis, we are saying the null hypothesis is true. So since the null hypothesis is true, the claim, which is the alternative hypothesis in this case, is going to be false. Okay, so at 5% level of significance, there is no sufficient support evidence to support the claim that the mean class size for full-time faculty is more than 31. Now we're looking for less than 31. Okay, there is sufficient evidence to support. No, there is no sufficient evidence. At 5% level of significance, there is not sufficient evidence to support the claim that the mean class size for full-time faculty is fewer than 31. Look like this one. I mean, that's everything pointing to the right direction. Well, let's just read D. At 5% level of significance, there is sufficient evidence to claim that the mean class size is fewer than... No, we're rejecting that, remember? So we don't have sufficient evidence to support. And so that should be C, and click that. Yeah, so we have answered A, B, and C. So just a quick recap, we are dealing with a left tail. Our p-value was 0.082 to 3 decimal places. That means we failed to reject HO because the p-value is actually greater than alpha. It needs to be less than in order for us to reject. And our interpretation, of course, there is no sufficient evidence to support the claim. All right. So I hope this majorly help with the p-value question. Remember, here we're dealing with a data. If we're dealing with summaries, you just click with summaries. All right. So I will see you in class. Ciao, ciao.